Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be diving down into the charts to take a look at what has been going on most recently with Bitcoin. We saw a bit of a surge to the upside yesterday, and I want to go through what is going on with the smaller time frame, what I think is actually most likely or most probable to happen next. And if you do find this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all of that said, done and out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop and take a look at what is going on here with Bitcoin. Okay guys, we're going to start off with our hourly chart. I'm just going to quickly remove a couple of these notes that I've made for our members over in Discord. Let me just quickly grab those and move them off, and then I'm going to talk through what is actually going on here on this daily chart. Okay, so basically what we have is this huge surge to the downside, right? This is effectively our fifth wave. This was a 1.618 move of our fourth wave up higher, okay? So basically, if for those who are maybe new and haven't been watching all the recent kind of updates that I've been doing with Bitcoin, what we actually have here is five impulsive moves, or one impulsive move down made up of five waves, right? Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm going to remove some of the noisy elements here because there's five waves inside here and there's an ABC up here. But basically, this actually is wave 1, 2, 3. We had a wave 4 up higher and a wave 5 going down lower. Okay, now the interesting thing about this is I actually had the target for wave 4 set, and we actually overextended a little bit here. I had this kind of ranged out at about 38.5 up to, what is that, 39 approximately. We actually moved up a little bit higher than $39,000. So this yellow box here, this was the area that I was expecting our fourth wave to finish. Because we actually overextended, and we actually means that we hired up our target, right? It was actually lower, but because we overextended our fourth wave, it means that our because we overextended our fourth wave, we actually go down lower. Sorry, not shorter, but we go down lower on the fifth wave, right? Because we went higher on the fourth wave. So when we actually measure this entire distance of our fourth wave, okay, so from the low area of wave 3 up to the high area of wave 4, and what we're able to do is we're able to basically take those two anchor points and then basically use the Fibonacci retracement tool to say that we are going to be heading down to 34,600, right? This is the 1.618. So for those who do not know, a fifth wave should at least, the minimum amount of movement on a fifth wave is 1.618 of the wave beforehand. So wave 4, 1.618 is wave 5, right? It can, of course, go further, but it should at least be 1.618. So in this case here, we had these wicks actually go down below the 1.618, and we actually closed above the 618, okay? So basically this meets the minimum threshold for our fifth wave, right? So there's our low point. And we actually had this scoped out again from 34,600 down to 32,900. For those who are not familiar, this would have created a double bottom, okay? Fortunately, we didn't have to go down too low, and we actually started to see a reversal. Now, obviously, we're tracking something else as well. From this origin point down here, an A wave up higher. This low of this fifth wave makes our B wave, and then we're tracking for a C wave higher. And I'll get into that in a little bit more detail in a moment, okay? Cool. So let's jump back down here and review what's actually happened thereafter, right? Because we had this fifth wave get hit, and then we started to see this really good surge to the upside. And it started off with a nice simple ABC move, right? We have an A wave up, we had a B wave pull back down, and then we ended up with this overextended C wave. This overextended C wave effectively makes it an impulsive move, which means it's no longer an ABC, but is instead a 1 through 5. And what we mean by that is if we grab hold of our Fibonacci retracement tool and measure the distance of our A wave, or wave 1, and we transpose it over into wave 2, we can see that this overextension went way above the 2.618 as it started to approach the 3.618. Okay, so what we actually have going on here is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 coming up higher, wave 4 coming down, and now we're looking to go into wave 5. Okay, wave 5 obviously has to go higher than wave 3, and it should be 1.618 minimum of the previous wave, wave 4. So when we actually measure the distance of wave 4, we actually get a target of 41,000 $187. Okay, so we are now looking at a pretty good move out of this fourth wave. Now, technically speaking, we are still in the fourth wave until we've pushed higher than wave 3, and therefore, we can potentially see some volatility here. But I do think that there's a high probability that what we're actually witnessing is 5 waves inside this fifth wave, and the same way that we would have expected to see something similar. And you're probably really visible on a smaller time frame with our wave 3, okay? So one of the things that I'm conscious on here is that we actually have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 just pulled down now, and then a wave 5 that gets overextended, pushing higher. And if we actually take this measurement of wave 4 that as it has currently performed, that would put us just above a 2.618 and somewhere short of the 3.618. Okay, so somewhere in this kind of range seems to be the most probable area. Okay, so we're very aware that this seems to be the most probable outcome, but if we're in validation, we need to stay above. Where is that? That's the low point of 38,000. No, it's a high point, so $39,030, right? So we need to stay above this particular candle wick in order for that to kind of play out. Otherwise, there's some other kind of move going on here, and I think it looks a lot like an ABC. It's pretty standard, nothing too much at this point. So we could also look at it from this perspective here, where we actually just gone above the standard 1-to-1 ratio, but not hitting the 1.382. Okay, so we'd be very aware of what's going on here. It hasn't technically reached the minimum requirement of an impulsive 5 waves inside this fifth wave just yet. So we're conscious and watching what's going on here with this, but this is the most probable area. Now, what would invalidate going to 5 waves up here would be that we actually now break down lower than our wave 1 high over here. Now, this wave 1 high, if I actually go ahead and grab hold of that in more detail, that comes in at a high point of 35,885. So to be able to invalidate this high point of 41,187, the price has to move down lower than $35,885. Okay, now there's a low probability of that right now, but we should be aware that it is still there as a possibility. Okay, so right now we're tracking ABC up. We haven't gone higher than wave 3 just yet. We are heading to the overbought area on our hourly chart. The 4-hourly chart is already overbought. The 8-hourly chart is overbought. The daily is heading out of the oversold area, and the weekly is pretty much still oversold. So there is some volatility still to be expected on the smaller timeframes, but the larger timeframes are ready for a big surge to the upside, the daily and the weekly. Okay, so this basically allows us to understand that there's still a little bit more room to push up into our fifth wave high. And then after that, we would expect to see some kind of ABC correction that would then correct the hourly, the 4-hourly, and the 8-hourly charts. Now, this might be a really deep, ABC, or it might be a really shallow ABC. We don't know what that's going to look like until they start to form. Okay, no one can really predict that. Obviously, as I come out into our daily view, though, we can acknowledge what's actually going on here in a little bit more detail, right? We do have 5 waves to the downside. This is very clear on our daily chart. We also have some pretty reasonable kind of moves going to the upside. Okay, all of this, though, I do think is actually a larger A, B, and C. Okay, this is what takes us to that $47,000 range. Okay, so obviously as we come up into larger timeframes, we might want to say to take a look at a 3-day view. It becomes a lot clearer that this is very much A, B, potentially C going higher. Okay, and what's important to note here is that the larger the time frame that we look at, the higher the probability it is that we are looking at upward swing rather than downward swing. Okay, I'm gonna move that over there for a little bit so we get double top. And so for the most part, we are looking pretty good and pretty comfortable for continued growth. As we take a look at the weekly chart here for Bitcoin, we obviously are tracking the slightly larger play, right? Which is that all of this fourth wave that we are still potentially in is leading us into some kind of lower low to complete the move. And this is basically something that is called an expanding, it's got lots of different names. So I'm going to call it an expanding flat correction, right? We can use a couple of trend lines just to articulate this a little bit. So we have this low point down here, for example, and what we're looking for is a lower low on this one. Okay, and basically what people are, and many different analysts are doing this, is they're basically saying this is a wave A, This is wave B, and then this will be wave C down here, right? And what you end up with is B wave going higher than origin, which would be the top of wave 3, and basically C wave has to go down lower than the A wave. Okay, this is something that is very possible. It's still valid. There's only one there's only one way to invalidate this move, and that is to effectively go up into new all-time highs, right? And because as soon as you move higher than wave B, effectively this is void. This is no longer a thing, right? It's done. It's a wrong wave count. So we should be very aware of that. Okay, what would invalidate such a move? And that is basically new all-time high. And the only way to prove this theory as well is also to come down into the new lows. Right? So one of those two scenarios has to play out to know whether or not this is right or this is wrong. You either go up into new all-time highs, invalidating the move, or you go down and actually complete it into new lows, right? Lower than A wave. So those are the two scenarios with that one. So it's one of those scenarios where you can't disprove it until it's either proven or disproven, right? It is simply is what it is. So yeah, we're very aware that that play is there. But I don't think it's overly probable right now, considering the positioning of all the other indicators on the charts, right? So the larger timeframes are all actually looking pretty good. And again, we take the measurement of wave 4 here, and again, it gives us an idea of what that minimum threshold would be for a fifth wave, which would obviously be right up here at just over $100,000. Okay, and again, you could argue that actually we move it up into the high point just up here as well, which would extend that to about $117,000, which would be the more technical way of saying that is where we go. Okay, so all looking actually reasonably good for Bitcoin right now. There's obviously a lot of volatility to be expected on the smaller time frames. Obviously, specifically the hourly, we are looking for a small push up before we potentially start to actually go ahead and set a new trend, or just have a corrective pattern appear. Okay, so this is kind of what we're looking for, but obviously I've spoken about the invalidation points. We know if we do drop down below 35,850 or 885, sorry, that we are invalidated, and there is no high. This was just an ABC, and then we can react this as accordingly. Right now we actually have the ABC up, but it could quite easily turn into 5 waves, and the fifth wave completed here would actually take us to approximately $41,187. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully you have found it useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.